Good evening, you absolute maniacs, and welcome to another edition of Figanomics. Yeah. Tonight, please welcome our co-host, fresh off of duty, fresh out of work, and he even got a whatnot screaming. We're talking about Fritz from Fritz's Bricks.
What is up? We're live.
And joining us tonight is our very special guest to help educate us about what it's like to run a retail brick and mortar Lego store. We've got the legendary Wapi from Wapi Bricks.
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
Usually we cover figs, but tonight we figured we'd get into the real economics, the meat and potatoes of this type of thing. I think people have been dreaming about doing this, Wapi. And maybe we give them a reality check. Maybe we send them on their way to doing this thing. We'll find out. All that and much, much more right here on Figanomics. Yeah. All right. It is Tuesday night. What is it? November 19th, full swing of Black Friday madness. Fritz, Wapi, I feel like, we all know it's jump the gun a bit, but I feel like we've been in this Black Friday sort of buying window since I don't know, October 5th or something. It's just
honestly, yeah. I mean, the AT-AT you showed me, Sean, went on sale at Walmart for $600. Like, and supposedly I heard this too.
Oh,
Lego will also be having a discount on their AT-AT. So,
rumors are swirling. .com is looking to get 20% off on that. It'll be $680. A couple of decent G-dubs, record player. Seems to be like not quite a micro scale, but a decent sized train, not a scale train.
Yeah.
And then you combine that with insiders, whether it's double or not, you're probably close to that 600. So if you've been on the fence on that AT-AT, man, get it before it goes.
Well, it's actually, they pushed it back. It's not retiring anymore.
It's not.
No, it's not retiring anymore.
What?
They pushed it back to like June or July.
Oh, okay.
No joke.
Well, either way, I'm really happy with. Fritz, you trolling right now? Because I'm happy with it either way.
No, I mean, I'm happy with it too. I would say I said it in the stream last night, and someone said that it was pushed back. I think it was Jandern actually, and he's in the show right now. And
Jandern, all right.
I was like, no way, it pushed back.
Oh, Cooper. We're gonna put Cooper on this. He's our resident know-it-all.
Yep.
Cooper,
dude, I know these people from Whatnot.
Yeah, you will.
It is retiring, Jandern says.
Oh, okay, Jandern.
I was about to stop the show. Like, Wapi, we'll get to you later. What's going on with the AT?
I hope it retires.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, so guys, yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Any, so Wapi, we'll just start off with this one, man. Like, when it is buying season like this, I mean, are you looking to any of the major retailers to get stuff for your store or not really? Cause you're mainly doing the more retired stuff, or are you just always on the prowl anytime if the deal is right? Like, what's your take on Black Friday madness for a store owner? How does that work for you?
I mean, I'm always on the prowl. I will say last month I went a little crazy on Lego.com, and with Kohl's actually had some pretty nice deals. So we're not really able to get, the Kohl's cash, but we're not really able to get the big sealed sets very often from our supplier, and they don't come in super frequently into the store. So Kohl's had a pretty good promo. I was able to get a pretty decent deal on those. And Lego had a really good GWP with the Halloween pumpkin. So I bought a bunch of stuff on Lego.com last month.
Nice. Yeah, I figured, I mean, yeah, there really isn't, would you say that's like a primary, or is it mainly stuff that comes in now that you have the store, or you're just getting it from everywhere constantly? It's like, what would your splits be? It's like high level, like walk-in versus, I mean, you've been sourcing for Whatnot. I don't know, like what's your mix on how you get it? It just varies.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to say because it varies so much month to month. Yeah. I would say primarily it's from people that reach out via email, via Instagram. Sometimes you get some big walk-in trade-ins, but I would say our biggest, like best trade-ins just come from people reaching out to us online that found us on YouTube, Whatnot, that kind of thing.
Okay. That makes sense. I kind of jumped the gun there, Fritz. I was gonna back it up, and then we can kind of round ball some questions here. But let's see here. We're big into lore here on a couple of Brickheads, so we got to get into this. My first knowledge of you, fun name by the way, tremendous name. I think that's
Thank you.
it's the most important thing in showbiz. Because you're a showman, you're not just the store guy. I mean, you've got charisma and all that, so you knew that you got to have something catchy. But let's get into where the name comes from. I'm sure you've explained a million times. Then kind of how you got started in the sort of resale game to today.
Yeah. I mean, how long do we want to get? I mean, that could be a long story, but going back to the beginning,
whatever you're comfortable with.
I would say like 7 years ago.
7 years, okay.
Whoa, pretty deep.
Okay. Yeah, it was maybe. I think it was either six years ago, probably, and I don't know about quite 7, but 6 years ago, I was senior of high school, I want to say, and I had my collection, and I've discovered Bricklink and found some of my minifigures were actually valuable. I specifically remember P1 clones, looking those up, and I had a solid amount of them and thought, oh, $6 a piece. And these were just kind of lying around.
Oh man.
Yeah, like it's not that big of a deal, like $6, but
you got a couple hundred of them.
Minifigures add up, as we all know. Yeah. Minifigures add up, as we all know. But yeah, when I first started out, it was just my collection. I was the kid that built sets and destroyed them, put them back into buckets. So I had some solid minifigure value. So I listed a bunch on Bricklink and all that, and had a $100 sale within like 2 hours. And then I was hooked after that. And then after that, I was trying to figure out the best way to sell my pieces that I had from my collection. And I figured out eBay was solid I looked on there to see what other people were selling for pieces. And a lot of people sorted by color and sorted them by wheels and types and sold them like that. So I had success with that. And then I started researching more on how to sell, avenues to sell. And a lot of people were selling stuff by parting pieces out. I remember the first set I bought like in bulk was from Costco. I bought the 3-in-1 classic set.
Shout out to Costco.
Like, yeah, Costco, you could get some solid deals. But yes, I got like a 3-in-1 classic set for 30% off. And the part out value was 3 times that. So but I didn't even part it out at first. I would actually grab the 3-in-1 set from Costco, get a bunch of them, and then I'd open them all up and sort them by specific colors. And then I would sell 100 pieces for $10 on eBay is what I would do with all of that. And it worked out. This is a small scale compared to where we're at now, but everyone starts somewhere. But yeah, after that, and then I started parting sets out, buying them on sale and parting them out on Bricklink and buying other people's collections, piece verifying sets. I remember the days of buying like a big bucket of bulk with instructions and finding an Endor bunker and looking through the whole collection and trying to find every piece for the Endor bunker.
Nice.
And I did that for a while.
Great set. It's worth it for that set, quite frankly.
Yeah. And I remember just singing. It was a great feeling getting Bricklink sales. And I was singing around, I remember singing around campfire with my friends, and the Endor bunker just sold for $200 something bucks. I'm just sitting here. I mean, my previous work experience was working in a factory at $15 an hour, and it was just I hated the work.
Boring, yeah.
But yeah, after the Bricklink stuff happened, I just was selling on Bricklink throughout college. Oh, and I forgot to go over the name. Yeah, when I first made my Bricklink store, I told my brother to think of a word, and I thought of a word. I thought of watermelon. He thought of watermelon. I thought of pizza. Just combo it together. I thought a 2-syllable name was the way to go, something unique. But anyways, back to
have you tried it though? We're all dying to know.
Watermelon pizza is a goated meal. I have it.
Really?
It is so good. Not watermelon on a pizza.
Are you a maniac? Are you keeping the seeds or no?
The seeds, I like a good seedless seedless watermelon.
Yeah.
Those
That's
are really
funny.
good.
All right, you learn something new every day. Tremendous.
Yeah.
Before you go to all right, so you're doing the eBay thing. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Made me think of an interesting question. Something we talk about here a lot on all of our streams is the normies, right? And that's like kind of it could be like a typical Target mom out there shopping, somebody that just got into the thing. The eBay story you told is interesting to me because you in your wisdom at the time were like, 3-in-1 set, let me do 100 pieces of red for $10. How important to the reselling game now? Obviously these highly specified collectors channels like Whatnot, all that, sure, those are going to be probably 99% hardcore nerds. They know what they have, they know what they want, they know what you got, that kind of thing. How important though in the overall scope of this game is the average consumer? I mean, it seems like maybe you were underselling and a knowledgeable guy ripped you off on those 100 pieces, depending on what they are, or maybe somebody was like, oh, this would be fun for my kid. Do you know what I mean? Like, how important is the normie factor just generally?
I mean, like from people walking into our store, or just
I mean, so the eBay thing,
exactly.
Yeah, so I guess more. I should thank you for bridging that gap. But yeah, like to your day-to-day business, what again? If you can, I know it's still new and it's hard to maybe quantify, but what percentage do you think are like, oh, cool Lego, I remember that, versus like, hi, I need a General Grievous and I need it stat. Like what percentage of people are sort of open to anything versus, and what do you think the mix is on the hardcores versus like, the normies?
I mean, I will say, I feel like everybody that comes into our store knows something about Lego. We'll maybe get like 10% that's just some grandma that comes in and has no idea what they're looking at. But I would say most people, and I mean, it depends because Lego is such a vast hobby,
right?
That I could be a normie. I'm a normie at some aspects of Lego. Like
Same.
I don't know Ninjago or Bionicle like other people do. I know Star Wars really well. I know the values of stuff really well, but I don't know the lore behind all these themes. So, I mean, everyone's a normie in some way within the Lego hobby, but I would say 90% of the people that come in like know Lego, like some aspect of it pretty well.
They know what they're getting into. They're not shocked that there's $300 sets all around and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, some people probably walk in. I hear like people look at our Comic-Con section all the time, like, holy crap, that's $2,700 for one minifigure.
Right. But again, even a knowledgeable Lego fan might not. I mean, I'm shocked by stuff all the time. So yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. I was just thinking, like, because a brick and mortar, I mean, one of the benefits obviously is foot traffic. And I was just curious, like, as far as more of the grandma, the lapsed fans, the kind of into it, let's take the next step and go into a retail store. It's interesting for me I do big retail, by the way, Wapi, like in my real life. So that's why I
gotcha.
I've been like selling into major retail for pretty much my whole career. So should have gave you my background. That's why I'm so inquisitive about some of this stuff and how it works.
It's definitely more than 10%, but it feels like the vast majority of people know what they're talking about, because the people that know what they're talking about talk to me or want to talk, and the people that don't know they probably just look around and leave.
They peruse the friend sets and take off. I mean, is that kind of
yeah, and like sometimes people walk in the store and they literally will be in there for like a minute. I'm like, how can you only be in here for a minute? It boggles my mind.
I know. Even you as the owner, you probably look around and go, God, there's so many heaters in here. It's crazy. Well, let's see. So all right, so you got to Bricklink, eBay.
So how old were you at this point, by the way?
Yeah, and then let's get into that, and then the physical small store and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So I was doing eBay like senior year of high school to freshman year of college, like that kind of summer, senior year and stuff. Yeah, friend sets and take off. Okay, gender. But and then throughout college, I was still kind of doing the eBay thing on the side. I remember I moved into college. I was in a I don't think I've ever told anybody this. Now I'm thinking about it, but I would bring in my big bulk buckets of colors. I was still doing the eBay color lot thing, and I would bring them in. We had like little push totes to come into.
Were you ever like,
college.
Remove it.
Were you ever like, hey girl, I got a bucket of blue in the room. Do you want to check it out? Because we talked about that with Jay. We talked about with Jay, like, what are the lady getting sets? You know, like, nah, girl, this is a diorama. You know.
But yeah, I would bring like 40-gallon totes of white bricks inside this container, and I hid them with my clothes and my blankets because I was kind of ashamed of it at the time.
Yeah, you don't want the razzing. Yeah. Uh-oh. It's frozen.
Sorry, you guys cut out for a second. But yeah. What the heck? Can you guys
Yeah, Wapi, maybe drop and rejoin.
Yeah.
You're on a delay and you're fuzzy. Let's try that.
Am I better now?
A little bit.
Yeah, I think so. We'll try it.
A little bit? Okay. Here, I'll turn down my camera resolution. Okay.
It's already pretty low.
Oh.
Fuzzy.
Oh shoot. Okay.
No, you're good. You're fine, dude. You're good.
Okay.
All right. So we're in college. We're stuffing a rainbow of bricks underneath clothing. Okay.
Yeah, and I had buckets of bricks underneath my bed. And my sister was fulfilling my bricklink orders at home. My mom was helping with that too. And my mom was actually putting stuff into bricklink for me as well. So that was what I was doing like in college. And then I'd occasionally come home and figure it out. But in the summers, then I would do more like uploading sets and trying to build up the inventory to sell during the school year. And then
were you ever a sets guy early or just parts?
It was just parts, and it was mostly parts at first, and then like year 2, after I got through my collection, then I dabbled a little bit with sets.
At what point did you realize, all right, this is something that this might be something good, you know? You might have a gem here, you know what I'm saying?
Part B is what was the early, so you're running this operation, learning management, managing the family, doing a great job. Yeah. When did you realize it was something? And like, can you talk a little bit about like what the return was on some of that stuff? Understanding you're in college and stakes are maybe a little bit different, but were you like your buddies or maybe, you know, that are in college or
hamburgers at McDonald's?
Is right. Are you parting out yourself to like a sustainable, whatever, couple $100, $1,000, whatever a month? Like, was it not about that so much? Was it a little bit of extra bread? What was it early?
It was just fun for me, you know, and whatever money came from it. I don't really remember how much. I was just trying to get started in selling Lego. Just that was a dream. I remember when I started thinking. I remember selling like $2,000 a month on Bricklink. That was my junior year. I was like, okay, maybe I could scale this a little bit. I mean, it's selling $2,000 and I'm not really doing any work right now while I'm at school.
What's the margin on that, Fritz, roughly?
I mean, I'm not a parts guy.
I know it depends, but like, are you making a couple $100 more?
You're probably profiting roughly just over 50% if it's parts mainly.
Yeah, you're shooting for 50. I was shooting for 50%.
Yeah.
50 on there, and then less fees and all, like on your gross side. Okay,
that's not really including my time. I mean, right. So if it was all about the money, I would not have. I wouldn't have been doing it for 3-4 years and all that. But the game changed my my junior year. I remember second semester, I was like, you know what? If I want to do this, I'm going to have to make content. And I'm not really one to put myself out there and be that guy. I always thought I was stupid in high school, but I knew that it was free advertising, essentially. So I was like, I needed to make some TikToks.
Who were some of your early favorites? Was it always TikTok, or were there YouTubers you followed then? Or
Cool Guy Dom was an inspiration for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Shout out to Dom.
I have a little shame with that, but Cool Guy Dom was my inspiration. I was like, this dude's getting hundreds of thousands of likes. He is a really good guy. He is a really good guy.
He's a goofball, but he's a good dude. I mean, we're all,
But I just remember seeing like some silly TikToks. Like this dude's getting hundreds of thousands of likes and millions of views on some of these videos. Like I need to get on here and promote my business and just make some fun videos. So I tried, and on my fourth video, I just made a video of me partying out like a ton of one set, and it got like 50K views. And then I did like a little video of my setup at my house that got like 10, 20K views. And then I think it was my fifth video. I posted my expensive Lego minifigures you might have video, and that video blew up. I got brought to you by Netflix. That video blew up. I got 10 million views on that first video, and over time, it's over 10 million right now. But I remember posting at like midnight one night. Woke up with 500,000 views. I run to my brother and say, Isaiah, I'm TikTok famous. And then I posted like 10 more of the same video with different minifigures that day to just capitalize on the viewership. But that's when it all started ramping up from there. And then I started posting at the end of those videos, I'll buy your Lego minifigures, send me a message on Instagram. And I got like, if a video blew up, I would get hundreds of DMs with people just trying to give me their minifigures. And that was the moment that was the moment,
the pinnacle.
And so, at what point did you tell Dom he's responsible for the Wapi empire? I mean, did you?
I don't think I've ever told Dom that. I should probably say something to him.
Let's get him on right now, ladies and gentlemen. We've got no. All right, so you're TikToking it. You're still selling out of college and all that. And then, what year did Whatnot proper start?
2021.
Great timing, yeah. With all that,
yeah. One of those years, I think.
I think I started April 2023 or 2022 or the other.
I think you and me started both 2022.
I'm very old. Part of what I do is I've sold consumer products into QVC and HSN for many, many years. And I always said to myself, what if there was like a bite-sized way to do this? Because not all of them took off, man. I mean, you've seen the stuff on there. It's like, gadgets and clothes and makeup and whatever it is, right? And like some of them would be heaters and they would work, and you could bank a lot of your business right off of that. But then sometimes you'd go on there and it would just flop, and it was it is still live TV. And like, there's a DPM or a dollars per minute target that you have to hit. And if you didn't, despite months of setup and sending them assets and logos and loading in the inventory to their DCs and doing all this stuff, and they get on air and it just 2-3 minutes, just whatever, they're not hitting that DPM target, dollars per minute revenue, that they need for that airtime. They're just like, all right, we're going to move on to the next product. And it's just like, so it was so high stakes. And so going back to like 2008 or 9 for me, when I started doing that and selling into these places, I was always like, man, one day there's going to be a place where, and my original idea was, instead of 1 or 2 main stages and cycling the products in, this is really dating myself. I'm like, if you could have like a warehouse with little cubicles in there with a bunch of people selling stuff at once, all in different genres, or maybe they're the same genre, I don't know what it is, and that would be rad. And I got a little bit down the road on that with some reps that sold into there, and it just never went anywhere. And then fast forward to this sort of retail-tainment category of Whatnot, which I have always, if you even have a smidge of a personality, which not all you guys on Whatnot do, but some of you do, you two included, have a personality, and I definitely know that helps. But I was always like, man, if you could bottle that up and put that somewhere. And then here we are. And it's funny because it's such a, it's a become like a cornerstone, at least for me, for our hobby of Whatnot, and being able to, win auctions quickly, God forbid you're entertained during, and you know what I mean? Like it's so cool. So that's what drew me to Whatnot as like a viewer. I still haven't done a sale yet. It'll probably happen one day, but what drew you to that? And go from there, from the Whatnot or what happened first? Your little store, then whatnot? I don't want to go out of order. Sorry.
Yeah. So, going back to junior year, when I did the TikTok thing, and then it was summer and it started doing well. And then my senior year, I was still on track to go to UWM. But anyways, I decided that I was gonna, after watching a class that gave some inspirational speeches, I'm like, I'm full sending on the Lego thing. But then I get into the little store right away. I get into the little store right out of college. And I think it was right about the same time that Whatnot happened. And what got me into Whatnot was actually a little bit of Republic bricks and a lot of HD bricks. So I remember growing up seeing Republic Bricks does auctions on occasion. I'm like, that's crazy. Just going live on Instagram and people are typing in the chat $1, $2, $3, and people actually pay. Like that was just so wild to me. And then I saw HD Bricks do a live stream right while I was at the little store. And I thought it was cool. And I was like, I might as well try this for myself. I watched a few of his auctions and they seem to do well. Stuff sold for like the Bricklink price. So I was like, if I can move this at this pace, then I mean, auctions are the way to go. So I set up my own stream. I busted out all my Star Wars minifigures, got on the living room floor, built as many as I possibly could, and promoted on Instagram with my TikTok and did an Instagram show. And it actually went very well. I was really happy with how it went. And then after that, I got a message on Instagram from a Whatnot rep at the time and said, "Hey, I see you do Instagram auctions. You want to try out Whatnot?" I was like, heck yeah, I do. And I thought I was so lucky that I tried one Instagram auction. This guy thinks I do Instagram auctions. And that's how I got on Whatnot.
I got a question for you. At what point when you were doing, because like you blew up on TikTok, right? I'm looking at your first video right here, and you have 60,000 views. Then it goes to 193, 280, and then basically if you scroll up from that point on, it's 200 plus, 100 plus K. 100,000 people on each video. At what point were you able to capitalize on TikTok and start turning something that you may have made, like money you were possibly making on TikTok, into buying Lego? How did that help you at all with like getting started?
I mean, TikTok gives like 5 cents per 1,000 views. It's the TikTok revenue. The only thing TikTok was good for is getting my name out there and for getting minifigure inventory. That was the best thing, is getting collections.
Do you think that
yes, the acquisition of it was fantastic.
Do you think that you would be where you are today without like the massive following that you've grown on TikTok and everything like that? Or you think it would have just been a slow grind throughout it all,
I think it definitely improved the pacing 100%. I would not be where I would not be as far along as I am without TikTok.
Yeah.
To the moon. I'm going to probably touch that topic when we get into Whatnot at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a good point.
I think the challenge with TikTok is it's maybe not as sticky as other platforms, right? Like the viewership and the relationships with the viewers and all that stuff.
The community,
it's fickle.
Yeah,
it's like they're on to the next.
There's a reason I've stopped posting videos as much on there.
Yeah.
I've stopped posting videos on there nearly as much.
All right. So out of college or junior year, you started the store? Sorry, I didn't want to get the order mixed up. That's the little store?
Oh, yeah. I graduated college. After my first semester of junior year, I knew that after my first semester of senior year, I knew this is what I was going to do. It was actually during my first semester of senior year, because I transferred colleges, part of the engineering program I was in. And I watched an inspirational speeches from Schwarzenegger and Steve Jobs and one other guy. And it was just like a college 201 class. And it convinced me, I am full sending it on the whole Lego thing. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I can always, get a real job. But I finished out college because I had one semester left, transferred back to my first college and finished the degree. And then I just started the store right after that. I got a grant for $10,000 for new businesses. It was coming right out of COVID. So that definitely helps. That paid the rent for what would be the first year, which helped.
All right. So you're doing that. You're doing whatnot. At what point was it the opportunity of the retail space? At what point did you say I'm making the move into the big store? And what was some of the background on that?
Yeah, so I was in the little space for maybe 2 months, and a local business owner came into the store and asked me if I would be interested in expanding and interested in talking partnership talks. So we started meeting, and I saw his collection. He had a pretty awesome collection. I actually, if you watch one of the earlier YouTube videos I made, I made the biggest Lego store in the world or something like that. That's the title of the video.
Yeah.
The clickbaity title.
Sure.
But I go over that guy's collection a little bit and how that store came to be. But that's eventually we talked and we came to an agreement and made the store happen. It opened up probably like 3 months after that. And we found a 5,000 square foot space. We originally found a 2,500 square foot space, but the plans fell through. And then we found a 5,000 square space, which thankfully we got that because we're running out of space right now on the current location.
Bursting at the seams.
Yeah.
All right. Somewhere between now and then, and we'll bring him up because I said he's a friend and he comes on the show quite a bit. I think my first exposure, it could have been Whatnot, and it could have been the video Ryan did in your store. And you probably got a lot of new viewership from that as well. What in the tiny shop, how did you hook up with Ryan?
Yeah, so I just sent Ryan a message on Instagram. Like I've been kind of in contact with him since I started making TikTok videos, and I got in a pretty cool sealed set collection with some rare stuff from Star Wars, like episode 3, Revenge of the Sith sets from 2005. Got a bunch of those, and
Cloud
that was
City,
our
I think you got too, right? Or
yeah, Cloud City. Still have that. Cloud City as nostalgia for me, so that one's gonna be hard to get off my hands.
You should have it in the store always. Yeah,
it is in the store at a high price tag, so I can see it. But if it sells for the price it's at, then great. But
no, you got to have aspiration. I always tell people that. Yeah, you always got to have those aspirational Halo products. Like, man, can't do that, but I can do this $40 whatever. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just sent him a message like, "Hey, do you want these sets?" Or like, "Hey, we should collab," that kind of thing. And he saw my small store from like some content that I made on TikTok. He's like, well, maybe, but I'm interested I have this idea to make a smallest Lego store ever video, and I can come at Brickworld Chicago. And he just got really excited about the idea of that video and knew it would get a lot of views. So that's kind of how it happened.
There you go. And then interestingly, where a light tie-in is, I believe it was the very next year or not too far after, he decided to do a stunt and have the world's smallest Lego store and try to take you on at Brickworld. Did you see that?
I did see that. I think he was he told me about it. He was planning to do a big video with it, and I was in the video, and my employees were in the video, but it ended up getting almost like after filming, it didn't really make sense. I think he just made a vlog out of it. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong.
Out of the Brickworld store?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was bummed he didn't go all the way with that either. So I partnered with him on like putting that, like the retail aspects and everything, putting that together. We staffed it. A lot of great people were involved in staffing it. I think it went really well. I'm not sure why the video didn't come out, because I mean, there was certainly a lot of interest and nobody had done anything like that. I'll tell you, the hardest part was sourcing the shed itself. Like, I mean, you know about trying to find retail. Well, it was tough because like he's like, it can't be so small that nobody fits in or they're uncomfortable because then they won't shop. But then it can't be too big to where somebody will want to beat it the next year. You know what I mean? Like he's like, it's got to
Oh my
be like,
gosh.
and so that was the goal. And I'm 6'4", and Ryan's not short. And we kind of went in there and we're like, okay, if we can if one person at a time, you can look at the racks on the right, racks on the left, racks straight back, put a lighting rig in there. I thought it was a cool little deal. And now he's kind of bringing M&R shop and all that all over the place. But yeah, it was cool. It was the first ever M&R mega store. And I remember seeing your video and connecting the dots, and I was like, oh, so you're trying to beat, and I the name didn't connect at the time. I'm like, oh, so you're gonna try to beat the actual smallest full-time Lego store with this thing,
Yep.
So that kind of directly tied in.
He ran the idea by me.
Yeah. No, and I know he had filmed stuff like he meant. That's what I'm saying. Like there was some behind the scenes. That's what I'm saying. I've always been like a couple degrees away from actually like meeting you and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Okay. So Fritz, and I'll chill for a minute. I know I've been taking a lot of the questions here. So you're in the big brick and mortar store. What's that like getting off the ground? Just for people wondering, I mean, lots of things to consider. Sounds like you took a partner on. That's something that needs to happen or can happen. Walk through like leases, permits, all that stuff. I mean, is it as rough as people think? Not as rough? Helps having experience? Like what are some lookouts for people that maybe want to do this sort of thing?
I'm excited for this part. I've got like 25 questions.
Crawl, walk, run, I know, is a big thing. Look at what Wapi's been through to get to that point, by the way, boys. Like
I think he froze.
Frozen.
Oh man.
Hey, Wapi, maybe drop
and stuff like that. I mean,
hey, Wapi,
I didn't
maybe
really have to do much for permit.
I would drop and rejoin. It's just getting.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Can you drop and rejoin? It's just getting to an all-time kind of.
Okay.
Maybe. Sorry.
I think I see a block on the screen that it's in, and nothing else. It's all cream colored too.
We're gonna let Wapi reboot here, guys.
I've got like 20 questions.
All right, I'm done. I just wanted to get through the lore, and then we'll turn it over to you and the boys.
I'm about to rip into this one like crazy.
All right. All right, this is where it gets interesting. All right, here you go.
Slightly we're competitors, but I love what he does. Oh, he teased us there. What are we drinking tonight, Sean? What is this?
Bud Heavy, just regular Bud.
Oh, all right, very well.
Been enjoying it.
Nice. I got
right, we got double Wapi.
A Crystal Monster.
I'm just gonna go on my phone. I think that
beautiful.
My Wi-Fi sucks.
Honestly, you look so gorgeous in the phone.
If you can give me a little horizontal, we're not on TikTok.
Oh yeah, a little turny here. Oh.
Yeah.
How's that?
A lot better.
Beautiful. Okay. Welcome to Whatnot. All right, here we go.
Gosh, I can see your pores now.
Oh, great. Okay, just fine.
I think we were. All right, let me turn your mic up here.
Guys, we're at 56 likes. Get
Unbelievable.
in. Let's get the likes going, people. The knowledge is about to drop.
Get to a hunch, man. So we were talking about, and I want everyone to understand, we started with, buying and selling parts on eBay, the evolution, Whatnot, little TikTok on the promo, a smaller store. Oh, he's dropping again. It wouldn't be an ECOB show without tech diffs.
No, it would not.
All right. While he's resetting, I feel like we should play the night Brent's mic didn't work. Oh, he's back.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
All right, you're good.
Okay.
Where we were at is like, okay, so you've decided to take the step on getting a store and just kind of like high level, what's that like as far as like capital you have to have, the business's credit, just whatever you want to share on, like, because I've done it a few times. It's no joke. It's very hard. Permitting, like, what are the lookouts? What should people be prepared for if they ever think they want to try this sort of thing of opening a retail store in 2024 or thereabout?
I mean, I gotta say, when we first started, my business partner was critical in helping get the lease, get a lot of the inventory for the store, and all that stuff. That was part of the biggest reason I wanted to have a business partner to start, is because I was naive in the whole business world. I'd never done it before. And it was critical having him. He was able to find a good spot and work out a deal with the guy in the lease. I do remember, or the guy leasing us the space. What was critical was for the lease is negotiation. I mean, some people, like, they're willing to negotiate with the lease. We also made sure that we were only locked in for 3 years, and then we had optional 4th and 5th years with the money set up already, and we got a pretty good deal. So we're paying like $3,000 per month.
Wow.
I think now for the 5,000 square foot space.
That's insanely good, because like
Yeah.
California for
Your mileage may vary on
that. Is 2,000 square foot in California right now for retail space is $10,000 to $15,000.
That's
so
insane. That's insane.
And they don't even do that much in sales. I've talked to multiple bricks and minifig stores here in California, because there's like 20 within an hour for me, right? And most of them pay between 10 and 15K. They only have maybe max I've seen is 3,000 square feet, and they're not. I know for a fact most of them are not generating as much as you would think, and most of them don't even sell anywhere else. A lot of them don't do Bricklink. A lot of them don't do eBay or whatnot. They just do
waiting on them to come in. Yeah. Well, this sidebar, we're gonna do a sidebar. So Wapi, were you approached? Did you think about bricks and minifigs, and why did you not do bricks and minifigs as a lot of others have done? Because I think probably at this point there might be less flourishing, truly independent Lego reseller brick and mortar stores than there are BAM stores in the country.
100%.
Well, BAM stores are opening up like crazy. I remember there was one in Wisconsin when I first opened in Madison. Now there's 7, I think, in Wisconsin, maybe 6, and there's more planning on opening. But I never wanted to do a BAM. I grew up going to the Bricks and Minifigs Madison. I went there like twice, and I just thought to myself, I don't know. I brought stuff to trade there, and it wasn't the way I would do things. This is the best way to put it. And then as I grew up, I just thought I could do this so much better. I want to make the best Lego store out there, and I think that I'm just on the, I'm getting I'm still scaling up. Like, the goal is to have the best Lego store possible. I just think that a really cool thing, I was thinking about this while I was on vacation the other week, would be like a Target or a Walmart for Lego. Just like a massive, massive store that people would drive hours to, and just have it kind of like just an absolute mega store, and sell and whatnot and all that stuff too. But yeah, I never want to do a BAM. I feel like it kind of limits you, and you're still not working for yourself. You are a little bit, but you're also still working for the man. You're
paying that royalty. Yeah.
And I just didn't think it was necessary. I thought I could do it.
Wapi, what do you? So I agree with you. But what do you? One little brainchild I've had is like, what if there was like a Super Bowl of that, like once a year for a couple days? I understand you want to install like a permanent Walmart, Colossus. We've seen it with comic stores, right? They've done it with comic stores where it's usually like, in a business district. It's usually not on a main drag because, the price would be insane. But what do you think about like just an all buying, selling event to like an epic scale? Do you think that could pull?
Well, I mean, so we're saying bigger than Brickworld Chicago. We're talking.
That's what I thought too when you said that.
Hey, I am the most loyal, diehard Brickworld Chicago guy there is, but I think like I think there's opportunity for like a football field for a few days of this going on somewhere.
I guess because Brickworld Chicago is pretty weak when it comes to for buying and reselling. Like if you want to do a whole convention just for buying and
I
buying
think
and
you're
selling,
describing a brick roll, Bouchon. No, I'm talking brick stock, man. I'm talking like just like
I mean,
something wild.
there's probably that isn't something that I'm necessarily interested in. I don't know, like planning a massive event for like a whole year and then building up into this one big thing. But it's possible. I mean, I definitely would go to that. If it was a thing, I would go to it.
Fritz, you would go to that, right? If you were promised a football field of Lego buying goodness.
I mean, you think about it, right? We kind of know someone, me and Wapi do, and you might as well, Sean. We know someone that's got a football-sized field of Lego, in a sense, or at least a square foot, or at least a warehouse, right? Event.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know those guys.
Yeah. Right? Now, they might not, do a whole lot in the Lego scene on whatnot, but they're all over eBay. They're all over Amazon and their own accounts and everything like that. But they don't do anything like that. They've kind of invited some people for doing whatnot shows. They've done Maddie. They've invited other people and other influencers to come out and sell, right? But it's not something you see all the time. So I think it'd be awesome.
I've thought of this for like just big consumer brands. I think it would pull too. Because you'd have to have limited stuff. Like there's all kinds of different angles, Wapi, and I can talk to you about it offline. But like for like retail, right? Like they kind of do it with what's that? A good test case for this would be like Complex Con, if you remember that. It's like a streetwear sneakers kind of thing. They did sneaker cons, and that was kind of like a tour, and they would come to your town and people would rent tables and sell sneakers. But then there's like this Complex Con where it was in LA, probably still is, for a couple days, and like all the brands would just bring heaters, like which in Lego it's kind of tough. I mean, there is that custom element that could be brought as far as like newness. Lego is probably a little different. That I think the vintage at a good deal would probably be the biggest draw, right? And that's going to be tougher to source. But anyway, I don't know. It's just a thought. But I'm with you, dude. I hope you get maybe we start with like a CVS. Maybe yours is already like a CVS size thing.
No. CVS is bigger.
Maybe we go CVS, then we go Walm's, then we go Costco. Who knows?
Yeah, I would love to do it. And like something set up really nice and organized. It's kind of hard with reselling because you're getting so much random stuff all the time, but I think there'd be a way to do it. I definitely think you'd have to cross list a ton of stuff on eBay and whatnot.
Yeah.
The spot I'm at right now is I'm struggling on the retail side. So you talking that you're a master retailer, I might have to talk to you off to the side, but I'm struggling with cross listing.
Gotcha.
Because I think we would sell a lot more everywhere if I could connect Whatnot, Square, my online website, and eBay, and just have everything listed. And when somebody sells on one of those platforms, it gets taken off on another platform. That would be huge.
Are you doing Shopify?
No, that's the issue. Square doesn't integrate.
Why does it have to be Square?
Yeah, I've been looking into Shopify lately. We just have so much invested right now into Square that I haven't need to switch yet, but I'm looking into it.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, also, I mean, if you do Shopify, you can incorporate it quite a bit with apps and everything like that.
Yeah.
But you do have the issue of like
there's
if you
third party. Yeah, I was going to tell you, Wapi, and again, we can get nerdy offline probably, but like there are a lot of integrations. Something I do is we're able to sell partner products, and I'm wondering if you could set up some of your stuff as partner products. Which I believe only one person's paying the fee in that point, because then there's like an origin of the sale and then the destination of the sale of like, basically like you can take a regular brand's website and turn it into a marketplace for other things and make it seem like it's your stock with drop shipping, etc. So there's different ways to like connect the pipes there, and I'm wondering if maybe that's a solve for you, like high level.
Okay. I mean, I'm interested. I know Lego really well, and whenever I have to learn something else out, I'd rather just find someone else to help me.
Yeah. We can talk about that. What I don't know is how to unify your inventory, which it sounds like is your issue. You want to be like, if you have it in your buy it now on eBay, whatnot, in store, how the hell do we not sell it twice? I mean, that's probably a big issue for you right now.
I think that's an issue for a lot of people, though, because like, I mean, I was talking to someone recently.
Somebody or risking your score, right, Fritz? I mean, that's the.
That's true. I mean, and like I've done the same thing you're talking about, Wapi. Like, I'll have it listed on Bricklink, and then I have it listed on like Whatnot or Brick Owl. But Brick Owl and Bricklink, you can kind of link together through the Brick Store and through an integration app. You just have to pay the fees for it. But like, there isn't something like that for eBay and Whatnot and Bricklink, and or if you sell it anywhere else. Because I know a lot of people that also sell. They do Facebook Market, or they do Facebook online sales, or they do Amazon, and I mean FBM and FAA. But I mean, there's a lot of. I wish there was an integration app for everything, just like you're saying. I would love that.
Yeah, there are, and by the way, they're ones that Shopify doesn't just offer, Fritz. There's some offline stuff. So, like one of them's called Synceo, and it's not offered by Shopify, but it'll integrate with Shopify. So there's all kinds of stuff out there, and Synceo is what I was saying. There's a target and a destination for where this. But all right. These some good comedy coming in from the Girth Gang here. We got lots of Bed Bath and Beyonds are empty. Amy's on the same wavelength. A lot of former Kmart's. I think those are. I think Spirit has the market cornered on those.
Oh yeah. But that's only half a quarter, or they only have it for a month and a half of the year.
Jandern sort of, but it's more about inventory and and where it's being sold versus where it's being. Like there's different ways to set it up. You can tender the sale on your site, so you recognize the revenue, which is great on the gross side, but then it's almost like an affiliate program because you'll rake 20% or whatever you agree on off the top to you, but then they're responsible for fulfillment. But Wapi, maybe that's you who rakes the 20 and then you're responsible for the fulfillment in another store, and then you get the other 80% on your end somehow. There's all kinds of ways to do it. So yeah. Where's the nerd to write the code for that? Are they watching? Yeah, no, I mean it's gotta be there's so many dudes out there that are selling across multiple platforms, especially independently.
I mean, I know
there's
some
not
of the largest Bricklink stores
together, if we
their own software developed for it.
Yeah, if someone could find out a way to integrate, for the whole Lego community, Bricklink, Whatnot, like all these, they would make a ton off the Lego community.
Bricklink is the ratchet net plan. It's so archaic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how
he's loving the nerd talks. Got a loaner now currently. That's good. All right. All right, Fritz, fire away.
All right, Wapi, I'm going to prepare you. I've got about 25 to 32 questions.
What?
45 to 32.
This is only an hour and 32.
Yeah,
to get through it.
We're already an hour in. All right, this is going to be fun. All right, so when it comes into opening up a store and everything like that, this is all going to basically encompass that, and also you, and like how you've got into doing all this. And we're going to talk a little bit about Whatnot, Bricklink, and all that. But diving into it, right? You open up, this is after the small store, but diving into it, you get the big store opened up and everything like that. You're up and running. And on a day-to-day basis, or not day-to-day, but like how often do you get trade-ins that you're like, man, we can't offer too much for this? How do you, when those come in, what do you decide to do? Do you decide to buy that all out? Or do you ever turn anyone away? I mean, I'm curious what you do, because there's sometimes I'm sure you get a boatload of just stuff that's like, oh, this is like maybe $2 or $3, or like, a bunch of city figs, and some parts and pieces, but they're all crap, stuff like that. I don't know what you do.
What's your heartbreaking experience like when you have to break hearts?
Yeah, when you have to tell someone, they're like, this is $1,000, and they might be right.
Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed kid comes in and is like, thinks he's got 300, and you're like, I'll give you 20, kid, maybe.
I mean, someone could bring in, like a bucket of 50 pounds, and there could be $1,000 of Lego in there, but the amount of time that it would take to list all that, sell all that, and do all that, like we'll give you $2 a pound, because that's something that even that, like, we have so much bulk, but we get quite a few trade-ins. We don't get all. I bet you Bricks and Miniface gets more than us just because they have the name, but it'll just be a random. Let's do last week, for example. Last week was someone just brought in probably like 20K of sets from Michigan on Saturday of sealed sets. And then we get probably like 100 pounds of bulk in. And that's an outlier. Usually someone would bring on all those sealed sets, but then another guy brings in like $1,500 of sealed sets. And
all right, let's start with the sealed sets. I love this story. All right, 20K is what the current like market value.
Yeah, we just finished listing it all, and that's what we put it out for.
All right, so it's 20,000 worth of stuff, and let's say the brick link. Let's use 20, great round number. It's booking for 20K. That's the retail average brick link, whatever you want to call it. It's 20,000. Do you immediately go to? I got to go to 50% of that to be profitable. Like, or does it depend on what it is, whether they're heaters or not? I'm sure that factors in. Like, do you find picking and choosing is better? Will you take some rubbish to get what you really want, just to get the number bigger for the guy? Like, I know it depends, and there's so many dependencies, but I guess break that 20K down and like what was interesting about it, and what number, if you're comfortable with sharing, roughly did you arrive at, and how?
Yeah, I mean, when we take, like, for a sealed set collection, we're not going to turn anything away. We'll make an offer for everything. Just we won't pay as much for some stuff.
Right.
But they were all mint boxes. He was the original owner for everything. He had Star Wars. He had vintage Knights Kingdom stuff. He had a bunch of NBA sets, soccer sets. He had Pirates of the Caribbean, Vintage City, like old Vintage City sealed in the box. He had a lot of really cool stuff. And so what we usually do when we evaluate is we look at the sales history on Bricklink. For the most part, we use last 6 months new sales average as our indicator for sealed sets. And in certain situations, if it's a crazy heater, we'll look at the cheapest available. And if it's a set I know I could sell for that, like the ATOT dropship, he didn't have it, but someone had one recently. In the last 6 months on that, it's $1,200, but it's a $2,000 set at bare minimum, brand new seal in a box, in a good box. So there are certain situations where I wouldn't use last 6 months new. But if there's sometimes, like for the old sets, seal in the box, there's no sales data. So you have to look at eBay, and sometimes there's no sales data on eBay or Bricklink, and you kind of have to just guesstimate a number. This happened to me, like there was a 90s Arctic Lego City set just this weekend, and the cheapest available, I was like $350. One listed on eBay. It's never sold on Bricklink, never sold on eBay. But the last 6 months of a used one's $145. So it's like, okay, it's reasonable that someone would pay $225 to $250 for a sealed one. It's just not listed.
Right.
So in that case, that's why I valued it at $225, because I thought, like, hey, I might be sitting on this for a while. It's never sold, but I think someone would cop at $225. But all in all, like the Star Wars stuff, I add all that in, used in the last 6 months, a comfortable price. I think that the market would definitely sell at, and add all that up. And for that collection, I think I got around $16,000 for that. And then going through it, when we price things out, we're going to look at the cheapest available right now, and we're going to try and get the top dollar when we list it. So we got it up to 20, and we paid a little over 10 for it. So we're always trying to get to that like 50% mark.
Or Keystone, which is a nickname for it. I don't know if you're familiar with that term.
Okay. But he didn't have
100% markup, 50% margin. Yeah, same thing.
He had a few Star Wars sets. If he had more, we would probably be looking at like the 60% right there, because Star Wars sets are just they sell really, really well.
And briskly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like with the non-Star Wars, especially like old ones, like we have a car set in that lot that's $350 for a 700 piece set. Like it could sell quick, but I mean, I've never sold that set before. I have no idea how it's going to sell, but it's really cool. So it's just stuff like that, like 700 piece sets are super expensive.
Well, this leads into my next question. You kind of went into it a little bit, which is great. So when you buy these collections and everything like that, and you have all this you have this inventory, right, that you've been sitting on, and you did the same thing, or I've done the same thing that you just did, where you bought it because someone might buy it someday, right? You bought it, but how do you justify how long do you want to sit on that product for before no one comes in and buys it? Because one, they either don't know or they aren't interested in it because it's so old and they're like, it's not my thing, whatever. How do you justify sitting on that for a couple of years or a year? Like, at what point are you like, all right, we've got to try and make some of our money back on this one specifically because like it's just taking up space and our time?
It depends on the item,
right?
But I would say like once an item's been sitting at the store for a year, then it's just like, okay, what's going on? I need like I no longer like it's been sitting here for too long. I don't enjoy it.
Money, let's get it online. Yeah.
You're going to be aggressive with it, right?
I'm going to be aggressive with it. I'm going to push it on my store tour whatnot auctions. I'm going to grab it and dollar start it on whatnot. I'm going to use it for a giveaway. I'm going to do this or that. Like there's a few sets of the store that are like that right now. And it depends if we have space for them at the store, I'll keep them, clearance them, and I'll just keep clearancing them down until they sell. Or if I need them gone like that, like I got a Millennium Falcon in the other day, used UCS. We have one in the store already. There's no space for that store. I just want it gone. I literally I scheduled a live stream that day and ran it 3 hours later, dollar start, just to push it out. So that's that's what I do with the stuff that, has been saying for a while.
How do you resist the temptation? You're an online guy almost first because of your whatnot bloodline and your TikTok and all that, right? And eBay, all that. You're an online first guy. Like, how do you resist the temptation? I guess besides shipping and all that stuff, which even that to you is old hat at this point, but how do you resist the temptation of a very niche market in a small market town where your store is? 3,000 rent tells you everything you need to know about how sort of niche where you are is. How do you resist temptation to you get a $500 set that you're into for $250? You see where I'm going with this? You're going to list it at the brick and mortar for $450, $500 because you got overhead and whatever. How do you resist not just taking the quick 400 shipped, still turning a pretty good profit and throwing it online? I mean, obviously there'd be my guess, and you tell me if I'm wrong, is if you do that, there's no draw to the store. Is that something you wrestle with all the time? You got to keep some heaters in there. You're not going to get foot traffic. Is that fair?
100%. Yeah. Like I've thought about it. I thought about why we just got this collection in. Why not just dollar start everything, put on a heater whatnot show, and just move all of it immediately. And at the same time, like
gross and it's over, and
yeah. But then it's exactly what you said. You want to have the people that come to the store, still enjoying the store, and it's important to have a store. I've thought about closing the store and just doing totally online, just auctions. But what the store is really good for is name recognition, trust in your brand, and getting inventory
acquisition.
You need it. Like
I think the one of the terms, and it's buzzy corporate now, and I hate it kind of, but I love it because it's true. I hate most corporate terms, but I think surprise and delight is the most underrated thing, like in business. When you can keep people surprised and then over deliver when they go in your store, Wapi, because you touched on it, man. Like I already know because I've watched your vlogs, right? Like you are doing it better than Bricks and Minifigs, because when you go in there, and this is not a damnation of all of them, because there's some heater stores out there. You've seen, I mean, I don't know how many you've been to, but I've been fortunate. I travel a lot for work. There's ones who kind of get it, and there's some that don't. And it could be economics. It could just be whatever. I don't care what the reason is. I just know I'm like, I'll walk into a Bricks and Minifigs and immediately go, this store is dust. They've got nothing but the only sealed stuff they have is new, and there ain't gonna be no 20% off like there is in Target next door. That sucks. The only 2 to 3 heaters that they have on the shelf are 20-50% over Bricklink, so that ain't happening either. Let me go look at the figs. Nope, I can watch Wapi or Fritz tonight and get 5 of them for the cost of 2 or 3 here. Like I mean, maybe not everybody thinks this way, and this is why I asked you about how, like, what the normie walk-in thing is, because, like, to me, that's the only upside when you're running an operation like BAM, or if you're a vendor at a convention. These guys are charging way over, like an egregious amount over Bricklink or market value. I keep saying Bricklink. I don't even really use that. I just kind of know, like, an amalgamation of what stuff's worth, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. I can size stuff up pretty quickly. And I think what you've done there is, like, I admire that. And I do agree that's going to make you a stronger online reseller, because you have a brick and mortar store. You know what that gives you, Wapi, is accountability to the people, because they're like, if shit goes sideways, they like knowing that you're the face, you have a physical location. God forbid if they had to, whatever, in their mind, file a complaint or something went sideways, or like, yeah, but this guy is around and he'll take care of it and he'll make sure it's good. And that is like, you can't buy that, dude.
Connections and people and community right there. Yeah.
That's
accountability. Since Whatnot started a local pickup thing too, like, accountability is really real. Cause, like, someone will come into the store and, like, hopefully they're happy with this order. You know, I don't know. Do you have that experience, Fritz? Do you do local pickup at all?
So here's a kicker for you. This is a little interesting. Because I work a lot with bricks and minifig stores. I actually have pickup at my local bricks and minifig store.
Nice.
Right, which is a little different because I'm not them. If anyone, and I do it sometimes for some shows and some of them I don't. So like I did my Veterans Day show. I didn't have local pickup on that one specifically because I knew a lot of it was going to be mailed out. And a lot of it was like donations, and people were shipping it out, like Slapshot Pops shipped it out of his location, which was Pennsylvania. But for local pickup, like, I have noticed that if I have local pickup on and whatnot, and people come and actually go pick it up, that they usually buy more in the store too. And like, I have a partnership with the local bricks and minifix. So if they sell something off of someone that comes in off of something that I sold to pick it up, then, you know, there's a little bit of a return for me or something. It's a little scratch on my back. And they're super nice. And kind of like what Sean was saying, some of these bricks and minifix stores are good. And then some of them are dust.
Yeah. I actually did a little bit of a trip, like, earlier like a few months ago, went and saw a bunch of the bricks and minifigs in Wisconsin. There was 3 or 4 that I went to, just to kind of get an idea of what they're doing, what we could be doing better.
Right.
And I'm open to collaboration. I don't think I'd ever be able to do something like you're doing. You know, collaborate with the bricks and minifigs. I don't think they would want to collaborate with me. I mean, just because we're a more local store, I'd be open to it, but I don't know how that would work. I've reached out to Madison a few times, but nothing's ever come out of it.
So I would say this: when it comes into the bricks and minifigs portion of it all, there's a good chunk of bricks and minifig stores that I work really closely with, and I talk to the owners and I work with them, and I try to figure out ways for them to possibly have some more exposure and or be able to sell more or something like that. Because I like seeing, like, at the end of the day, my big thing is, like, I'm not a fan of some of the stuff that most bricks and minifigs do, but I'm a fan of there being more Lego stores because I like the fact that when I grew up, the Lego store for me was 2 hours away, 2.5 hours away. So there's really nothing like that for me. And only recently in Michigan, where I'm from, there's now 5 or 6 bricks and minifigs. And 4 years ago, there was none. And the only Lego store was in Detroit. So it was kind of a hit or miss. And now that there's like, I go back home now and there's 5. And I know 2 of the owners too. But like collaborating with them, I would say it's not collaborating with BAM necessarily. It's collaborating with the owners of that store specifically. Because each store is different. And like some store owners will be really cool with working with you and possibly working out a deal or scratching your back or whatever. Excuse me. And some will be cool, and then other ones will be really strict and be like, "Oh, if you're not bricks and minifigs, I can't work with you at all."
Yeah, I just think they get so much inventory in. I've heard many stories of recent or local bricks and minifigs turning down like really good inventory, and I'm just like, guys, I mean, you buy this and I could auction it off. Like that's my mindset. Like I could just do a big whatnot auction with all this stuff, and some of them are just have too much inventory.
Right. I think it is because, like I said, again, I don't want to hurt any feelings, but the majority that I go into are dust. And Wapi, you know the lingo a little bit, but I mean, it's just like they're just you can size one up, man. You just the way I described it, mostly new sets, way overpriced minifigures, accessories that you're not interested in, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, pricing is a big deal. That was a big.
Do you think it's capital? It's OpEx? Do you think it's like when they pass up that 20K collection could have come into, and I'm not naming a specific store, but they just didn't have the capital and they just got, nah, we can't. I'm sorry. Like, even if they're willing to take 40% of the value of the seller, they're like, they walk it because they're like, I just can't.
I have some stuff to say on this part too. Yeah.
I think the biggest
my thought, I want to hear yours, is I think that's part of it, is they don't have the operating capital to buy that stuff. I think would work. I mean, that's what's needed there. That's what the draw is, to find surprise and delight, like we talked about. Somebody goes in and goes, holy shit, there's a factory sealed Ewok village, you know, like I've been dying to have that. Yeah, it's 50, 100 over, but it's right there. The box is perfect. I don't have to ship it. Yeah, let's run it. You know, there's not enough of that going on, in my opinion, at BAM.
Yeah. And well, I think they don't have the operating capital because I don't think a lot of them have, I don't know their sales, but I don't think that they are able to, they don't have the sales avenues that I necessarily have, you know, on whatnot. So I don't know how much you're selling or how much sells for them or what sells. I would love to know their sales data, but I have the ability to get 100 minifigure collection and sell on whatnot that night if I wanted to and get rid of it. But for them, they get so much inventory. I know they get a ton of inventory. They get all the normies that come in with the big buckets and the
stars in their eyes. Yeah.
First thing that shows up on Google, and people want to get rid of it all. Everyone that comes in, a lot of people that come in our store that, you know, are the normies, they say they go to Bricks and Minifigs first and they didn't like the offer and they wouldn't take it. That happens all the time. So I know Bricks and Minifigs is getting
normies strike back. I like this. That's good.
What do you say?
The normies strike back. I like this.
Yes. So I know they're getting a crap load of inventory, and I guarantee you a lot of them don't know what they're doing. There was one location we went to locally, and I brought in some stuff to get an idea of how much they offer. And I'm not going to throw them under the bus and say what they offered, but it was very low. And they said it's because they had so much right now and they have nowhere to put anything. So when a Bricks and Minifigs gets locked in that spot, you're kind of stuck. Like for me earlier, when I got back from my honeymoon a week ago, my store was packed. I kind of go over in my last vlog. I'm super overwhelmed. There's a ton of stuff in the store. It's happened this weekend too. The guy brings in a massive collection. I'm super overwhelmed, but then I run a massive dollar store used set auction and sell, you know, over 200 used sets that are taking up 2 rooms of space. Whereas if I didn't have whatnot, I don't know what I would do.
Let me ask you the $1 million question, the $3,000 a month question, plus employees, plus everything. You don't have to answer if you don't want.
Sorry, what are you getting at? What's the question?
I'm building towards it.
Okay. Okay.
Is the store self-sustainable without the digital side?
So from what I've seen is we tread water and then whatnot pushes us over the edge. Okay. And specifically like big stars minifigure streams push us over the edge. And we don't necessarily tread water with we gain inventory, but the cash that we bring in, we would spend it on inventory.
Okay.
That we bring in, and so our inventory levels will go up, but the cash it's basically just maybe making a little bit, but it's treading water.
Yeah.
And then
your outlay is big, and which you could probably, Wapi, if you didn't have those avenues, you could probably balance that, but you have less concern because of your other outlets. You can offload it.
Yeah. I mean, mainly Whatnot. I mean,
yeah. So what you're doing is very modern. This is omni-channel. It's how all of them are working. I mean, look at the big push from Walms, from Targs, from all these guys. It's all omni-channel. It's all interconnected. The experience can be one and the same. You're doing it at a single location level, but you are doing what the big guys are doing. I'm wondering why Bam Madison, and maybe there's a couple others. I mean, I feel like that's the most prominent one I see on Whatnot.
Mission and Madison on Whatnot. They're the only ones that are successful.
They're the only ones that are success. Thanks, Fritz.
Yeah.
So what do you think it is? Let me throw into Fritz. You're talking to him a little bit. You don't have to name names, obviously, but is it because they don't have a Fritz or a Wapi or even a Sean, a Ham that could go on and do it? Like, why are they? If it's one of these people, one of these locations that actually have what I call a good problem, a lot of inventory walking in at 50% off market value.
Cheaper than that. They get it for cheaper than
that.
They get
it cheaper than that, yeah.
30%.
They'll get it for like, 30. They'll get
are we
it for
talking
like
GameStop, or are we going to go GameStop? Fine, 20, 30, whatever it is, Wapi. The point is, like, they're turning down heater figs, heater collection. Some of them are from Space or Capital, whatever it is. Why are they not doing it? Is it stubbornness? Is it age? Is it like they're not familiar with the technology? Fritz, what is the missing piece to where they're not maximizing their sort of online revenue versus traditional B&M?
So I've got a lot of insight on this.
All right.
I want to mention this first. Ironically, me working with a lot of bricks and minifig stores, ironically, Wapi would probably get a kick out of this, but he just tipped out. A lot of times bricks and minifig stores will reach out to me that are in my local area, that if they get a collection that they can't buy, they will give that person my card, and then I will buy the collection instead. That's been kind of I wouldn't say constant, but like probably every other month, once a month, a collection goes through the bricks and minifig store, and they're like, hey, we have to offer you this price. You know, they're offering 30%. Well, I'm going to offer more than 30% because I don't have a lot of overhead. I just have to do the work myself, like Wapi said.
Well, you don't have dead inventory either, right?
I don't.
Going to sit there on a shelf and die.
Right. So, like, a lot of bricks and minifig stores will do that with me, but not everyone does. Now, here's one thing that really comes into play when it comes into bricks and minifig stores. They are, some of them are getting killed with the fact that they have a crap load of inventory. Now, the reason why they're not selling on Whatnot, they're not selling on Bricklink, they're not selling on Brick Owl or eBay or Amazon or whatever, right? Is because when they sign that contract to Bricks and Minifigs Corporate and everything like that, they're signing that contract saying, one, they're locked in for 10 years. Or it's like a contract of 10 years or whatever, right? You're locked in there. You have to pay corporate. Here's the kicker. If you were a previous seller of Lego before you got the Bricks and Minifigs store, you also have to now report that to Bricks and Minifigs, and you have to pay a portion of your sales to them, which is 7 to 10%, whatever it is, right? So you have to pay that to Bricks and Minifigs, and that's just how it works, right? It's normal.
When you were
previous, franchise fees.
When you were previous, so in your case, Fritz, if you opened a BAM tomorrow,
I would never.
I know, but if you did,
yeah.
Any going forward Fritz's bricks business on Whatnot, they're then entitled to 7 to 10%, even if you don't do the BAM nomenclature in your
100%, because they're using the BAM name. You might find it.
7 to 10%. Is that gross or net? Do we know?
That's total profit.
Okay, so off of net. Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's 7% of profit, not total sales.
I do believe it's off of profit.
It can't be sales, dude. Did you hear what they get on? We don't have to get into that deep, but you've heard Wapi what they're getting like new sets for, what their margin is, right?
Well, I know because I buy them from the same place.
Probably buy from the same people. Okay. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Wait, hold on. Let me pivot into that real quick. So Wapi, I'm always a percentage guy. If you don't know, you don't know. Again, high level, just whatever. Less, more, if you're not comfortable. In your 5,000 square foot palace, beautiful store, by the way. What percent would you say is new on shelf of that square footage?
Brand new sealed
Current
market.
or current market?
Currently non-retired, let's call it, and stuff you could. This leading my next question. The stuff you can get at Target or Walmart, like that kind of stuff, or Lego. Whatever. All these places. What percent do you have on shelf right now?
I'm not done with my question after this, by the way. My answer.
Mine's really good though, Fritz. I'm enjoying this question.
After this, I'll answer it. Yeah.
Maybe 50, maybe 50. I'd probably lean less though. I would go like 40 to 50%.
If you could have it your way, do you like it that way, or would you rather have more retired boys in there?
Retired.
It doesn't matter. I'd rather have retired. But the thing is, people come in for the retail stuff too. You know, people. I think it's important to have the newer stuff. It's just finding it at a good margin.
Oh yeah.
The hard part.
Which you're allowed to do as an independent, and
Yeah.
that's a great point. Now, Wapi, if Target right now is, I think even right this second, has got some heater speed champs for $12.99 with the 5% Target circle. You could do them at 18 and do all right, and you're still undercutting MSRP of 20 or 25 or whatever the hell they are, right? So like that's what you mean by if you can find them at the right margin, because you sure as shit can't get that from your distributor.
No. The distributor is like 10%. That is what the distributor is. So if I can find good sets, I think that will sell at the 40 to 50% off at a retailer. I'll buy a few, you know, if I think they're good sets. Some sets are overproduced, but other sets, I mean, I went to Kohl's. When I got Kohl's, I bought the big sets for 30% off.
Shout out to Cole and the Kohl's Cash. Don't forget that sweet nectar.
Okay, yeah, I won't shop at Kohl's again because the experience I had with them was terrible with the whole Kohl's Cash.
Was your boxes destroyed? Were your boxes destroyed?
Some of them did get destroyed, yes.
Did you call them?
Yes, but their customer service is horrible. It's a pain. It was.
I got a free Cantina and Tyler got a free AT-AT. That's all I'm saying. But all right.
Oh yeah. That's you. They'll give you like. Yeah,
they're it's weird. They won't, like, if it's late or it's the wrong thing, they're unapologetic. You send them pictures of like a 25% damaged box, so like, we're so sorry, it'll be back on your card in like 3 days. I'm like, okay.
But yeah, my
no, don't go telling everybody. All right.
Stole $820 of Kohl's Cash for me, and after like 3 days of calling him nonstop and 3 weeks of running around with corporate, I finally got it back. But it was a bad experience. But yeah, I got the big retail sets for 30% off, and I thought that was worth it to get the Dungeons and Dragons stuff, because where else are you gonna? It doesn't really go on sale in Lego, and
it will for 10 minutes before it retires, but you'll miss that, right? Most people will.
Yeah.
I want to pop back into the BAM question that you asked earlier, Sean.
All right, go ahead, dude. I was excited. I just wanted to know like where he was at with the splits.
No, yeah, you're good.
And I hadn't thought of that from the perspective, Wapi, just to finish it out, and then we'll go to Fritz. Yeah, I do. It probably is more important than I originally thought, because like if they see your logo, they obviously see the bricks. They're like there that day, special day out downtown, wherever they are. They're like the Walmart, Target, what's it actually worth thing doesn't equal the equation for some, where they're just like, you know what, I'm going in today and I'm buying that Despicable Me set because we just saw the movie and my kid wants it and I'm just going to get it over with. And you got to have that. You got to have it right here, right now. That is the bet. That is what brick and mortar obviously has in this very much short attention span, gotta have it now world. That is a differentiator. Obviously, you can get a better deal for 20 or 30 less, but if it's somebody's birthday party tomorrow, you're not going to get it from Whatnot, or I was going to say Amazon, but they're pretty fast. But if you got to have it today, Wapi's there for you. That's a good thing. Go ahead, Fritz.
So you mentioned Whatnot and BAM stores and everything like that, and why they're not selling on all these other avenues. I touched the topic that they have to pay commissions on it all, but it also comes in the fact that if you're going to do Whatnot, if you notice, most of the most successful people on Whatnot are entertainers. I've noticed.
Yeah.
Ryan is an entertainer, but he also has a following, which is great. Wapi is a big entertainer when it comes to Whatnot. And after this question, I want to dive into some of the comments that we have because there's some great questions for Wapi. But yeah, the people on Whatnot that are bricks and minifigs owners, those are entertainers. If you look at BAM Mission and BAM Madison, the two people that run those two Whatnot pages are entertainers, and that's why they're so successful.
Not everybody has that, though, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of, ironically, in California, I've had two bricks and minifigs reach out to me, asking. One of them has offered me a full-time job, but if you can't tell, I'm in the military, so I already have a full-time gig, and they've offered me a job doing Whatnot at their store to sell their stuff that they have, because they've got the issue. They've got so much stuff that they're not selling fast enough. They turn down collections, and then they go wherever they can after that, or they sell them on Facebook Marketplace, or I buy them because people refer them to me. And that's one big thing that's been working out for me. But moving into the part of some of these questions that we're getting in the comments, if you guys take a peek right here, and you can populate them on the screen, Sean, we got actually a lot of questions and statements from the BAM stuff. But I think we've basically covered BAM. I do have one more question.
You had 32. Fire away, Fritz.
And this is specifically about BAM. All right. Wapi, do you think you're beating the BAMs around you locally in Wisconsin?
Define beating.
So
gross net.
Gross net and all that stuff.
Whatever
so the Midwest is #1 for metrics for bricks and minifig stores. They're the best stores are in the Midwest. And you yourself are in a location that I think is more rural, and maybe obviously you probably have lower cost of like lower overhead than they do, and you sell in lots of other places. Do you think you're doing better overall than these other bricks and minifig stores that may not be here in 3 to 5 years because they're opening them so fast?
I like to think that we're doing better. I'd like to think our gross sales are better. I don't know what their net is.
Right.
But I feel like we sell a lot, a lot of Lego, and I'd be surprised if the bricks and minifigs are selling more than us, if I would say that.
Willie Fresh, entertain. They don't sing, they don't dance.
I sing on Whatnot sometimes.
He does.
Yeah,
you sing more when you're having a good night, though. I've noticed that.
Yes, I do. I do sing.
Right? You do. You're like,
yeah.
The world went. All right, that just went for 75. Here we go. What's funny is the more you watch Whatnot, you can tell, because like I know I'm pretty good at the values, but I can tell like when it's not going well. Like it's
you popped in today at my show, and I think
I could already tell. You go, yeah, I don't know how long we're doing this for. Anyway,
yeah,
dude. Quick sidebar, we always do them. I love going into one and like. I know it's all cyclical, and you guys are established enough to where you go through it too on your level, but especially these new guys, who are looking for deals. I've seen somebody fold after like 1 or 2 figs, and they're just like, I'm out. It's not happening tonight. And then they'll start getting like really inflammatory. Like, what are you guys even doing? Like, I can't sustain it. It'd be cool to see like a crash out video of like Whatnot streams of disappointing auctions. I don't know how else to put it, but it's pretty funny.
I've seen a lot of them lately. But going into the comments here off the sidebar, we got a question here from, let's pick one out. We've got one from BAM has to make more to survive, for the high cost to survive. That's true. They pay like $100+ grand in just their franchise fee to start, by the way, which is nuts. Here's a question from Jandern. It says, Wapi, how often do you invest in sets? Meaning buy at the discounted retail and hold and sell after retirement, or for more? Like, what do you do?
I don't do it very often, if at all. I'm a quick flipper kind of guy. I'll buy a few, I'll buy up to probably 10 if a set's 30% off on Amazon, like the Ghost.
Does it have to be close to retirement, Wapi, or you don't care if it's 30?
if it's a good retail set, like the Ghost, I didn't care. Like at 30%, I'll buy some to have for the store. Because otherwise, if I want that retail set, I'm gonna have to pay 10 to 15% from the supplier. So I'll buy some just to have. If someone's looking for a Ghost. The Racer Crest I bought a good amount of those on Amazon.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I in my experience, I don't really think it's worth the space. I know for my business, I know generally speaking, it's definitely worth it for some other people that are set up for it. But our space is set up for getting collections in and selling them as fast as possible.
Next question here is from Stud Lake. He says, or he asks, what are the tangible elements to opening a BAM other than name and wholesalers and connections?
Well, I didn't open a BAM, but I would say you're gonna need a lot of, like, if you're gonna I'll just
like, this is like compared to you, like,
I
what
think
have you seen as a difference? You know what I mean?
I wonder what Lake is saying, like if you're gonna do it independent, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
like what are you gonna, like, because if you're doing it
Doing
independent,
what
right?
you're doing, Wapi, what do you recommend?
You're gonna need to find a big collection, a big. You're gonna if I'm gonna start
You
a store,
gotta stock the store to start, right?
if I'm gonna start from the beginning right now, what I'm gonna do is find a space, but you're gonna need a collection first. You're gonna need a good collection of retired stuff, a lot of variety of what people want. Good bulk, build a fig, a bunch of figures.
Heavy Star Wars.
Heavy Star Wars, and you need a lot of variety of retired stuff. That's kind of the inventory you need.
Yeah.
In my, like, if I was going to start a store, that is what I would be looking for a collection. And then find a good space and spend a lot of time on thinking about how I'm going to do the store layout. And then you're just going to need a lot of, once you set it all up, you're going to need a lot of promotion. Reach out to local newspapers because they will definitely do a news article. One of our local BAMs got on TV, like on the local TV network. So that's a short way of what I would do, starting out.
All right. Let's see. Here we go with another one. Let's see here. There you go. That's a good question from Code Red Collections. How many years did it take to build your followers on Whatnot?
The game's different now, I think, but you can take that one, Wapi.
Yeah, like since April 2022. So we're in 2025, like probably 2.5 years.
Yeah, just about from
half years, about where it's at right now.
I mean, I'm happy to see that. I mean, low effort is still being rewarded, but I think like team early and like being niche in something is cool. But like as it matures, it's getting tougher for people to break through.
Yeah, I've right now. I know that it's been really hard for smaller sellers. Like if you want a successful show, this goes for me too. Like if you want to run a successful show, you got to put in the work. You got to put on an awesome show, bring out the really good inventory, do a good giveaway, promote the show a ton. Like if you want to run a successful show, you just got to do it. That's what separates the good sellers from the small sellers. The small sellers, what my biggest recommendation would be to you is just, do what the big guys do. It doesn't matter. Just grab 1,000 Star Wars minifigures, grab all the heaters, give away a UCS set, just go all in, put on a big show, promote the heck out of it, reach out to other sellers, ask for raids. You'll get 200 people in your show if you do it right, and you're going to sell. I mean, there's always
hope to get 200.
There's always, but that's been my experience. If you put in the work, and grant I have, the bigger avenues, but if you might want to start smaller just to get the hang of it. But I really think it's the way to go. I've seen people put on awesome shows like Connect the Brick recently. He's a small seller, but I see him doing stuff like, the big sellers do. You just have to do what the big sellers do if you want to have a successful show.
I'm going to add something to that.
Shout out to Connect
right here. Yeah, Connect, let's go. Don't recreate the wheel if you're starting on Whatnot right now. That's really what it comes down to. Like you said, do what the big sellers are doing because it's working. If it's working, that's why they're still doing it. And then do you pay Whatnot?
Amy's asking, do you pay Whatnot a percentage of sales? Yes, they do, Amy.
11% plus 30 cents per transaction.
Yep. And that's for them putting on the whole shebang, the platform, etc.
Yeah. I want to also add the
What
fact
did that
that
start at? It was much lower. It sounded like
technically Whatnot's cut is 8%, but then there's 3% card transaction fees.
Gotcha.
2.9.
Okay.
And then there's 30 cents per transaction. And then for some other categories, it's lower.
And they charge you too for the total cost if there's more for shipping. So for all my shows, it ends up being like 13 to 15%, like every single.
That's true. I wanted to add to like what Wapi was saying, like to be successful and Whatnot, you got to put in the work. Like, and also I want to say this too: followers mean nothing. Followers mean something to maybe Whatnot, but in reality, like Wapi's got 31,000 followers, right? If he goes live right now, he's going to have probably between 100 and maybe 250 people live, depending on what he does, right? He could just do a raid show and he's going to have 100, maybe 200 people. Depends on the time, depends on who else is going, you know? It's never a good day if me, Wapi, and Maddie all go at the same time.
I will say this, and that it translates to YouTube too. Wapi, I know you've been on the platform. Fritz, you're getting started. I will take one of the things we get, I don't want to say knocked on, but judged on. It's an attitude a little bit. I don't want to get too, but let's just say this. I am so proud of our 4,000 subs because we've done it the right way. And what I am interested in is a conversion rate, is what you're kind of leading towards. And on a given week, on a given show, it's like 1,000 to 2,000 views. Like to have that sort of retention rate is unheard of. You know, sure, it'd be cool to have 100,000, 200,000 subs and all that, but anybody worth their salt that knows what people are really doing are looking at like the actual views. And so it does translate, Fritz. It's like they call them followers there, you know, they're called subs here. You hear about it. We hit this milestone, we're at 1 million subs, and they're getting 10K views. It's like, you know, it's all about ratios. And so for me, it's like I will gladly take this you know, army we have, this gang we have, on a percentage basis over any of these pie in the sky sub numbers, even though I understand it's tempting, but I understand how to work it and we could do all that. But it's like, I don't know, I'd rather have like true people who ride with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're running a consistent show. Some people just go viral with one video, get a ton of subs, and then they can't produce something after that. This is why I think Ryan has such a cult-like following.
He gets the views to back it. Yeah.
Well, because he's been just talking at a camera for 10 years. True. You know, and he gets views. He's built his subscribers just doing like
he did it the right way. Yeah.
Yeah, like this, instead of doing, you know, the clickbaity. I don't think it's necessary. The clickbait videos I think are fine, like TD Bricks.
Yeah, I don't yeah.
I mean, that's just his way of doing it, but you're not going to have a cult-like following like Ryan has necessarily.
He won't be able to mobilize his audience ever.
Yeah.
I
totally agree.
Straight up, he won't be able to mobilize, and it's not even that. It's the connection is different. And that's why I'm saying for you to have the trifecta or more than that of all the platforms you're on is a good thing.
That's true.
Yeah, that's why I want to get on YouTube. I was kind of over TikTok. I was just trying to find something.
Oh, I think, I mean, and again, I'm a homer. I've dabbled with the others, but to me, the only place to have a connection, which we do it in an extreme way. We do shows that are probably too long, but I value the connection with everyone who F's with us a lot more because I know it's genuine. I know it's real, rather than like picking up trends and doing what everybody else is doing. And that's cool, man. If that's your thing and you're like just about the top line scoreboard, we've been talking about grosses and nets all night long, right?
Yep.
And you can have 700,000 subscribers, and a lot of Lego YouTubers do, but I am call it a kiss ass, whatever you want to do. I have been with Ryan across a couple Brick Worlds and other events now, and the in-person reaction is fucking incredible. There are people that have way more subs than him, roaming the halls at Brick World and all that, and they walk right by him. They have no clue who they are, don't give a shit, whatever. But then they'll go to Ryan, which, by the way, it's not to condemn him for his 650, 700 that he has, but the connection that he has, having lines for 2 days straight, and this isn't hyperbole, it's not exaggeration, from when the fucking hall opens till it closes, they're there to see him. That's somebody doing something right.
True.
It's not to say the other people are doing it wrong. I mean, they get brand deals off that strength, they get all this stuff, but like it's not as pure, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the community is different.
I want to say, so this kind of leads into one of our questions here. I think we answered most of the
jumping
questions.
platforms is very difficult too, which I think you guys are. Fritz, you're going through that right now. I mean, I think you probably thought like, oh, everybody that was over there will immediately F with me over here. Doesn't work like that. So I've tried it too. I'm like, oh, we could do a thing, TikTok of these shorts. I've had shorts of, you know, big numbers, and nobody gives a shit over there because they don't know us. Like, whatever.
So I wanted to say this for anyone that's out there that's curious about, you know, wanting to sell on Whatnot or anything like that, or just get into selling Lego, don't be afraid to reach out to some of these bigger guys. Wapi is a perfect example of someone who's probably going to help you out. I'm always happy to talk about it. There's lots of sellers on Whatnot. They're usually pretty cool and pretty chill about it. And at the end of the day, we're just other people. We're just normal dudes selling Lego. You know, some of us have stores and some of us just do it on the side of what we do. We're just slinging bricks, having a good time. But
some are just fans of it like me. I don't do any of it.
You know,
like,
I enjoy entertaining people, and that's what I love about Whatnot.
Wapi because I've watched them a million times. I watched Fritz a million times. Like, I'm just hyped, and then my business sense kicks in, and I'm like, hey, what's going on with this?
This kind of dives into some of my other questions, though, with Whatnot a little bit.
Right, a couple more of them will roll, Fritz. We're going over. Wapi's a busy man, you know.
So Wapi, with Whatnot and everything like that, and like the economy and life and everything that's going on, I've kind of noticed taking a little break on Whatnot here and there. Is that what do you think that why is that? You know, and you mentioned it earlier. You know, selling on Whatnot's been it's been struggling for some sellers and stuff like that, and it's kind of across the board. You know, what do you think is going on right now? And do you feel like, you know, you shouldn't be selling on Whatnot as much, and you should be pushing on Bricklink, Brickowl, eBay, Amazon, the store, your own personal website, which you have now, and people can go check out? What do you think about that?
Are you asking about just me taking periodical breaks over like the last year, or are you saying just recently taking?
Within the past 6 months, I would say, because I remember when we were, I was maybe a couple thousand followers behind you, and I was always like trying to catch up to you. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. You're 15 ahead of me, but I've noticed you kind of pumped on the brakes a little bit, and I'm curious what the reason is. You know,
I used to go live a lot more when I was doing games, because those were easy to do consistently. And now I'm doing purely like dollar starts, and then I'll do big shows too, big dollar start shows, and the inventory just kind of dictates what I'm doing, you know. And sometimes we're really busy processing the inventory, and I have to work on processing the inventory for a couple of weeks, and then I can dollar start everything that we've processed and that's kind of left over, or I want to do a Whatnot show. But you're right, I used to do Whatnot, you know, like maybe 4 times a week. I'd throw in a dollar start minifigure show, a dollar start, you know, game show, and it's just the inventory we're getting, what the business is dictating. And I find that the Whatnot doing the small shows just isn't super viable anymore. Like, I don't know. And plus, one thing I'm doing I have been holding my Star Wars minifigures for like about the last since my last, like the massive show, like the biggest show I'd ever done and Whatnot. Like the big Star Wars show. I don't know when that was, but ever since then, I've been holding my Star Wars minifigures for something big that I'm doing. That's in the world of, you know, doing what everyone else is doing on Whatnot to be successful. I'm trying to think of something new to change the game, and I think I got captured in a bottle. It's something new, something exciting the platform has not seen, and that will potentially change the game, not only on Whatnot, but maybe in stores too. But I'm pretty excited about what I'm working on.
Well, that's cool. That's a little plug for the future here. Now I'm
Yep.
excited to see what you're gonna do. You know, shoot.
Yep. So I'm excited. Hopefully, the community receives what I got planned with open arms, but you never know. It's a risk,
We'll
but
be
if
there.
it's off, they'll do really well.
Yeah.
Like they'll do really well.
Well, you know how far off is it soon, or is it going to be a bit before you do it?
You know, I've never done it before. Hopefully within the next 3 months. Hopefully within the next 3 months, but a pretty cool launch date would be May 4th next year.
Nice.
But hopefully before then. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty close to. I would say probably at least 3 months, honestly.
Right.
But you never know. You never know.
Do you think that maybe potentially this is also a part of why you've slowed down a little bit on Whatnot? I'm only asking this because like I've been noticing it, and I've talked to a lot of other sellers, and I'm sure you have. Whatnot and Lego, Whatnot in the Lego space hasn't been doing as good as it used to. Isn't the same, you know what I mean?
I mean, it feels like it's coming back a little bit.
True, I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean,
the past 5 months have been a little interesting.
Yeah, like it definitely slowed down a lot. Like, and there's been a lot of seller turnover. Like a lot. I never see Nasty Reefs go live again. That's just one seller, you know. And just there's a lot of sellers that go live and just sell Mexico.
Reefs is out. Oh my god. Oh.
Yeah, a lot of people. You're about to talk about it right here too. I want to hear it.
Then yeah, a lot of people go live and just sell Mexico figs. But yeah, there's definitely a slowdown. The market after COVID, it went crazy. People were spending. If you look at Bricklink for figs, it was insane how much people were spending on figs over what the Bricklink price was on Whatnot. It still happens. I mean,
yeah.
Well, the other thing was the initial pop of like the celebs or YouTubers going over there, getting like, I mean,
oh god,
we
can't talk about this.
It was crazy. Those days are, you know, largely gone. They were given contracts and all that stuff, but I remember they would go on and do like a Disney CMF blind bag, you know. And at the time, I want to say this is when they were like overstocked on those, even in 2020. Remember, those were just like clogging everywhere. Series 2 especially.
Yeah.
They were like $3, I think, that day on bestbuy.com still. And they were getting like 14, 16, you know, it was just like crazy. But to me, it showed like the whole thing is viable, that the personality, what we've been talking about, Wapi, goes back to like the personality, etc., all that stuff helps. And I do think it can bump it up. It's just it's tough. Over time, you know, law of diminishing returns for, you know what I mean? Even if The Rock got on there and started selling, eventually like it's gonna plateau, right? So
it happens in every category. I've talked to guys like Jedi Mind Bricks. He was in before Lego, and he said the same thing happened in Pokemon. I think the category he was in, where it was crazy rush. Everybody was doing well, and then after a few, like a year and a half, 2 year mark, it starts the
normalizing.
Category settles in. The category settles in, and Whatnot chooses basically the top 10 sellers that are at the top. They're trusted, people know, and they do well, the top 10, but it's hard to get into the top 10.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Plus, like, even the behavior of the customer sort of normalizes, because I think, you know, the auction gimmick does get people to go up, be an interesting study. You know, the emotion, the competitiveness gets people to do things a little bit more loony than they would do on an eBay listing, let's say. You know, that mechanic, the gamification of it is doing something. But I think more important than that, though, is, you know, Fritz will be like, oh, Sean, Wapi going back. No, he wants it. That is fun. It's cool. I wish there was a way to amplify
entertainment.
Yeah, it's so fun. but I think like, there's going to be a line where somebody's like, I'm getting crazy. And there's one on, to your point about the omni-channel cross platforms. It's like, I know 72 is the absolute max because I can get one for 80 over here shipped. You know what I mean? Like, so like, I'm not, and you will get caught up in the moment. You like, some people will do 82, 85 just to secure it that night, whatever, it's payday, like, but for the most part, I think people will get a hold of themselves a little bit. But I know there's probably addicts, and that'd be a cool story to hear from you guys at some point. But like, where you're like, how the hell do you, you're in here every night dropping hundreds. How is this happening? What does your debt look like?
If you get the right person in there, like sometimes people just scroll through Whatnot and will come on your show, and they have a lot of people I feel like don't know the prices at all.
Right. I think that's kind of like, I think that
I see multi-winners, like rookie winners going nuts, right? First time viewers going nuts the first time. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, like there's been sometimes people that are just normies. I've had like a $10, I had $5 figure once go for like $80. And it's just because that person wanted it. They wanted it bad. And
somebody was going against them though.
Yeah.
I've seen that too.
Yeah, and it happens. It definitely happens. I mean, Fritz, I'm sure I've seen it. Fritz, I know his. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've definitely seen it. And like some people, like I have a person in my shows that if a porg goes, like a porg, the little dude, right, the little animal, if he goes up in my show, and he is there, he will bid. I've seen him bid it up to $100.
Who, a porg?
A porg, like the little baby
like
dudes,
just
like
as
that.
a meme or what? Yeah.
And the
he's got like 150 porgs. Yeah, it goes through every time. And then like other people bid him up just because of the fact that he's so obsessed with them. Now, granted, does he get extra stuff if he pays $100 for a porg? Yes, he's gonna get like a set or another figure because I feel bad.
Right.
Because you shouldn't pay $100 for a porg. Has it happened? Yes. Will it probably happen again soon? Yes, I just got some porgs for him. But like it's all funny games.
Tipping you and stuff, who knows?
So there's a part of that, right? And like Wapi knows it. Some people just like they're like a big thing on Whatnot is creating a community feeling, a sense of like belonging in a sense, like a little bit, right? Of like, oh, like my guy's live. I'm gonna go pop up in the show, moderate or hang out, chill, enjoy it,
Yeah. No, for sure.
And some people just tip to, there's definitely some appreciation. And like for me, like I'm in the middle, like someone told me the other day, I'm the trifecta. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And
handsome.
Oh, okay, Sean.
In the military.
It was the military, having a kid on the way and already having a family. Being a young dad. What else is there?
Mumble singing popular 80s songs.
Gosh. I don't know. Like, young guy doesn't make, just does this on the side, which is true. I mean, I don't know. Someone told me that. I was like, I don't know if I take that as a compliment, but thanks, I guess.
No, you should. I mean, listen, you guys are in the entertainment biz. I hope you fully realize that. Because again, people can buy a lot of the same stuff for X amount less from a faceless, James Smith 23 on eBay if they wanted to, So, I mean, there is a little bit of that. It's kind of like the difference of cooking at home versus going out to eat. I mean, people are willing to pay a premium for that little bit extra. Surprise and delight. Don't ever forget that, Wapi. It's important. Surprise and delight. Keep them guessing. Keep them happy. And you already have a handle on that, but harness it. Figure out what it is that people really like and enjoy about you and your brand and what they do, and amplify that. But don't do it in a cringe way. That's the thing.
I've got some final questions for Wapi. I think I should pop out there before we want to end the show.
Yep. All right. Last one. We're gonna wind her down.
Last couple. I'm gonna go fast. All right.
All right. Rapid fire, Wapi. We gotta go.
Give me a pro and a con of selling or of owning a Lego store. Your own Lego store.
Well, I would say pro is,
and it can't be you being the owner.
Well, I mean,
actually, it's both.
Probably. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's probably both.
Let me think. I'm trying to think of what I haven't said already, but I'll go with con to start, and then say pro for later. But
Okay. All right.
con, I would say, is it can be very, very stressful and overwhelming. Like when we get a lot of stuff in, and I have no idea how I'm going to sell it all, how I'm going to process it all. If people are going to, like, if we're having a bad day at the store, like, it can get very overwhelming very quickly. Like, that would be the biggest thing I would say is a con for the store. And as a pro, I think it's cool being able to support my family, my siblings, and like some of the siblings' friends. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, this business is supporting them, and that this is their paycheck for like 2 weeks. Like that it's just a cool feeling.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No, I mean, that's a good answer too. Honestly, that's just a super genuine answer. And I think, that'll lead into the next question. What is one piece of advice you would give somebody that is now is considering opening up their own store? Like, what's the number one thing you would give them as advice to open up their own Lego store? You know, like, say you're talking to me and I'm opening up my own Lego store. What would you tell me?
Can I add something though before you say that? I think I've got it off a few times tonight, but I want to stress this. I think what you would say, I'm not putting words in your mouth, Wapi, I promise I'm not, but what you would say to Fritz would probably be a little different than somebody who has no base. No,
that's fair.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so what you would say to Fritz, I think, is a little bit different. This is somebody who's like pie in the sky, thinks they could take it on. You know,
random dude.
Like, you've already have a big collection and all that, but like there's a certain grind that you've built. You did the most, both of you are doing the most, all of us are doing the most respectful thing. I think respectful. I don't know if that's a word, but an admirable thing of like the side grind, you know, like I think like I'll interject here real quick, but I think crawl, walk, run, you know, do a little bit of this on the side, whether it's a flea market, you know, if you're really into live selling, you want brick and mortar, but like a temporary space, like you got to see if it's cut out for you, because answering the bell every day and you've heard Wapi say processing the orders, and you're saying that a lot. That is a big major grind, you know, and it's like, I feel like you need to be a little bit, you need some boot, Fritz. You need some basic on this stuff of what it takes to get up every day, to put on a show, to open a store, to be able to buy inventory, study it, sell it, all that stuff. Like, I feel like you need a good foundation. There's a reason, you know, guys play in college before they go to the pros. Does that make sense? Like, opening a retail store cold is like, holy shit. You know, so I just want to interject that. Like, you gotta have some kind of base to you, like whether it's finance or know-how or something. Like, I would just highly advise, like, crawl, walk, run, whatever that means to you, eBay, whatnot, something. Understand the mechanics of margins, buying and selling.
100%. I mean, I operate by feel a lot of time. I need to.
That's important too. Yeah.
But I mean, I started selling 6 years ago, and I was just selling minifigures for a couple bucks on Bricklink, or selling 100 parts on eBay. But I would say the biggest thing, that this applies to anybody that is starting a Lego store, no matter what, or that wants to start. I mean, this applies to anything. If you really want to succeed, if you really want to, you know, climb the ladder and be the best, just never give up. You know, you just can never give up, because if you really believe in yourself, and if you put in the work and you do the research, you're going to succeed. You just can't give up. And if you don't succeed, just some days you're not going to, you know, some streams are a fail. Some days at the store are a fail. Some videos are a fail, but as soon as you give up, you're done. I mean, just do the next video. Figure out what you did wrong, like in that stream, in that sale.
Sometimes you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, well, and sometimes you didn't do anything wrong, and
that's what's the most frustrating.
Well, yeah, it is important to look back.
Don't give up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like just always try and improve. Always work on yourself, on your business, and that's all I've been doing so far, and it's worked for me so far. Just never giving up, even on the worst days.
That was a really good answer.
There
I like that. I hope people are taking notes. There's some knowledge.
This is all leading to the Fritz's Bricks physical location. So I think
if you hit a wall, push through it. You know.
It's true. Fine. All right, I got more questions. Sean, do you have any more before I pop in here?
No, I think we're going to wind down. So we'll do this as a teaser because this is another thing in business. Leave them wanting more. Wapi, I had a great time with you tonight. I'd love to see you back, perhaps maybe as a sneak preview for this crazy idea you have, or maybe a post game from that in a couple months. If you're open to it, sir, I'd love to have you back and we could talk through that. But Fritz, I'm going to cut you right there. 2 hours. It's very crisp. We got to roll it right here. You know what I mean?
100 likes, another 30 minutes.
100. Come on.
Wapi, did you like the show? Sean, did you like the show?
I enjoyed the show.
I might like the show.
I think he meant like physically liking it.
I not only physically like, I emotionally like my own show. I think it's a good show.
I'm glad you emotionally liked
it. I did it from all 3 of my accounts. I sure did. No, but that's the other thing. See, Fritz, Wabi, I'm not great at like the e-bagging, so we'll see what happens there. Before we roll, though, speaking of e-bagging, and then we'll go. I swear. I want to give a huge shout out to everyone that got involved last Thursday. I can't believe we waited this long, Fritz. We released
play the video, play the heat.
We released our latest drop, and it took a little over 24 hours to sell out of 200 figures for the Shadow Girth Trooper that we released last week. Wapi, I don't know if it's on your radar at all. I'm going to show the video and we'll head out, but we released this. If you got in on it, congrats. They will be shipped very soon. I do want to shout everybody out that rode with us, that placed an order. Unbelievable turnout. You guys showed out again. Let's show that Girth Trooper one more time. There it is, the Shadow Girth Trooper. Wapi, lesson learned. We should have made probably 50 more, but we made a couple hundred. Good problem to have. Get them in, get them out. We like it to feel special, like it to feel limited, and I'm so happy that everybody got theirs. Mine will be here soon. I don't even have one yet, but
I hope my 5 get here soon. I can't wait.
Fritz went in and bought 5 off the strength.
Oh my gosh!
But no, you guys are incredible, and thanks so much for supporting. Wapi, it's one of my dreams. I got to get one of these on your shelf at some point. This was our first. We actually released a custom set.
Oh, I think I have seen that. I saw that. I thought I saw that Brick World.
That is, yeah, that's us. Yeah, we did that.
That's sick.
We even did a 1 in 10, kind of like a chase thing. Yeah, it was cool.
You're good at the product design thing, I guess. I guess you're in retail.
Shout out to Lake, man. We're a good team. He puts it into execution. I just go, hey man, wouldn't it be cool if we did but yeah, we definitely do position it with the boys and put it out there. I try to do stuff like you said, Wapi. I'm a bigger percent feel, even though I have the business acumen. I'm still a big feel guy. I think they'll like this. I'm a little doubtful in one hand, but the other hand, I'm like, I think they'll F with this, and usually they do. So it's pretty cool. You gotta have gut. That's why we're all not replaced by AI yet, Wapi.
Well, you know your audience better than anybody else. I mean,
we do what we can. You know what I mean? So. All right, boys. Good times.
Wapi, shut yourself out before we take off here.
Yeah.
Plug it all.
Plug it.
Yeah, guys, check out the YouTube if you want more behind the scenes on my store and
it's awesome.
What I do.
It is awesome.
Fun. just kind of do a week in the life of what I do at the store. But check me out on Whatnot. Do a ton of dollar start streams. Do store tours where you can buy stuff at the store. Hit me up if you want to sell me some stuff. I mean, Fritz does too. I feel a little bad saying that, but if you're local, or hit me up on Instagram, all that stuff. Fritz specializes in Star Wars, so I buy everything like
I'm
that.
starting to not do Star Wars though. Just like that.
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
developing.
I have to not. I'm getting out of Star Wars. I love Star Wars. Getting out of it, it's a little nuts. So, go check me out. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and whatnot. Yeah, that's all I got.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I want to thank Fritz for holding it down, co-hosting, literally farm to table, getting off work, still rocking the blue. He's there. Probably Wapi too. You finished a long, hard day at the store and you still spent time with us. I appreciate you, sir. Good luck with the grind tomorrow. Safe to say, I'd love to have Wapi back sometime soon. This right here, this little fun little couple of hours has been Figanomics. We'll see you right here on Thursday night for the regular ACOB show. It's going to be a heater, no doubt. Peace.